There's something different about you. You've always felt it. Maybe you didn't have the words for it when you were younger. Maybe you couldn't explain it, but you knew. In rooms full of people, you felt a pull. In quiet moments, something whispered your name. There was a fire inside you that wouldn't go out, even when life tried to smother it, even when people you loved ignored it, even when your own mind doubted it. You are chosen. You didn't choose it. It chose you before you had a name, before you had wounds, before the world told you who you were not. You were marked by heaven, set apart, called. There's a weight to that kind of calling. It doesn't make life easier. It makes life heavier. It makes you a target, because being chosen doesn't mean you are everyone's favorite. It means you are God's instrument. And anything set apart for divine use becomes a threat to darkness. That's why it's been hard. That's why the attacks haven't made sense. That's why you've felt rejected, abandoned, misunderstood. Not because something is wrong with you, but because something is right about you. Hell doesn't waste ammunition on the ordinary. The warfare in your life is proof of the weight you carry. You've probably noticed that people around you have seen glimpses of it, especially your family. They won't say it out loud, but they know. They know there's something different in the way you walk, the way you see the world, the way you bounce back from things that would break most people. They see the favor that follows you, even when you're at your lowest. But instead of celebrating it, some of them try to contain it, hide it, redirect it, because deep down they know they can't control what they didn't create. Family can be the first to recognize you and the last to affirm you. They remember your beginning too well to respect your becoming. They knew you when you were messy, confused, learning to walk. So when they see you walking in power, they question it. Not because you're wrong, but because they feel left behind. Some of them aren't ready to admit you've been chosen for something they never understood, so they downplay your gifts. They compare. They compete. Or worse, they pretend not to see it at all. And that hurts, because these are the people you wanted to carry with you, the ones you thought would cheer you on, the ones you prayed for. But here you are, chosen, but isolated, called, but doubted, gifted, but silenced. You show up with oil, and they act like it's nothing but water. You speak truth, and they roll their eyes. You shine, and they try to dim it, because your light reminds them of their shadows. But don't let that stop you. Don't let rejection make you question the assignment. Don't let the silence from those who should support you drown out the voice of the one who called you. When God chooses you, He doesn't need a family vote. He doesn't require consensus. He doesn't ask your siblings for permission. He chose you because He saw something eternal in you, and whether they see it or not, it still stands. They may not honor your gift, but your gift is still real. They may not speak your name, but heaven knows it. They may try to block the door, but they can't cancel what's already been decreed. You were chosen in secret, but you'll be revealed in power. And when God says it's time, no one, not even your blood, can keep you hidden. Some of the greatest stories in Scripture are about people who were chosen and rejected by their own. Joseph was thrown in a pit by his brothers, not because he did something wrong, but because he dared to dream. David was left in the field by his father even when the prophet came looking for a king. Jesus, God in the flesh, was rejected in his own hometown. They said, "Isn't this the carpenter's son?" They couldn't believe the miraculous could come from the familiar. So if you feel like you're being overlooked, understand this. You're not invisible. You're being protected. God often hides what he values. He doesn't throw diamonds in the street. He buries them until the time is right. So, yes, your family may try to keep you small. The world may try to distract you, detour you, drown you in doubt. But it won't work, because what's on your life didn't come from man. It came from God. And what God starts, he finishes. They can lie about you, mislabel you, undervalue you, but they can't stop the oil. The anointing isn't up for debate. It doesn't need validation. It flows where it wants, on whom it wants, and when the time comes, it breaks yokes and lifts burdens. So walk in it. Even if you walk alone, speak. Even if they try to silence you, shine. Even if they try to shade you, go where God sends you, even if your family doesn't understand. Because in the end, being chosen isn't about applause. It's about purpose. It's about obedience. It's about destiny. You're not here to fit in. You're here to break through, to shift atmospheres, to tear down strongholds, to build what's never. And sometimes the greatest test for the chosen isn't the enemy in the world. It's the silence at the dinner table. It's the way people you love can look you in the eyes and act like they don't see the calling blazing behind them. It's the passive comments, the missed invitations, the way they support everyone but you. That kind of betrayal cuts deeper than any public attack, because it's not about strangers. It's about people who helped raise you, people who watched you grow, people who secretly know you carry something holy, but would rather pretend you're average than confront the truth that God skipped the expected and picked you. But you have to understand, being chosen disrupts patterns. It exposes dysfunction. It shifts the atmosphere. And not everyone is ready for what that means. Your presence alone reveals what they've settled for. Your progress reminds them of what they've ignored. Your obedience makes their compromise uncomfortable. So instead of celebrating you, they criticize. Instead of lifting you, they limit you. Not because you're wrong, but because you're the reminder that there is more. But you didn't ask for this. You didn't sign up to be the one who had to break cycles, challenge norms, carry the weight of generational pain while still trying to walk in purpose. You didn't ask to be the outcast, the scapegoat, the one they whisper about when you leave the room. You just said yes to God. You just followed the call. And now you find yourself standing in rooms you never thought you'd be in, carrying dreams too big for the people around you to handle. And that's the part they won't tell you. That being chosen doesn't always feel good. It doesn't come with applause or comfort or easy paths. And sometimes it comes with isolation, with misunderstanding, with seasons where you cry out to God asking why you were picked for something that feels like a burden more than a blessing. But even in that pain, there is purpose. The wilderness wasn't a punishment. It was preparation. The rejection wasn't a curse. It was redirection. The silence wasn't abandonment. It was space for you to hear God's voice without interference. Sometimes He'll let people fall away so you can rise without noise. Sometimes He'll strip the crowd just so you realize you never needed it. Because what's on you didn't come from the crowd, it came from the cloud. Heaven marked you. That oil didn't come cheap. And now you're walking around with something they don't understand. You speak different, think different, move different, not because you're better, but because you've been broken and rebuilt, refined by fire, shaped in secret, trained in storms. You don't just carry a word, you are a word, a living, breathing message that God still chooses the unexpected, that He still calls those from the shadows and puts them on stages they didn't campaign for. And don't be surprised when the same people who denied your gift try to benefit from your glow. They'll come back. They always do. Not because they suddenly see you, but because they see what's working in your life. But by then, you'll be too rooted in purpose to be shaken by attention. You'll know who you are, not because of what they say, but because of what God already showed you in the secret place. So protect your oil. Guard your spirit. Don't cast your pearls before people who only see stones. You're not here to convince them. You're here to complete an assignment. And sometimes that means walking forward even when no one claps. It means praying for people who never say thank you. It means blessing the ones who hurt you, loving the ones who left you, and rising in spaces where you were once rejected. Because you are proof that being chosen doesn't require a crowd, it just requires obedience. You are the evidence that God will use the forgotten, the misunderstood, the overlooked. You are what favor looks like when it's wrapped in humility. You are what grace looks like when it's forged in fire. So don't shrink. Don't water it down. Don't play small so they can feel big. Stand in it. Own it. Speak it. Move like you know you carry heaven. Move like you've been sent to shift generations. Move like you got chains to break, altars to rebuild, and territory to take. You are chosen, and everything in your life has been leading you to this moment, not for comfort, but for conquest, not for applause, but for impact. You were never meant to blend in. You were born to stand out. Let them whisper. Let them doubt. Let them try to hide what's already been revealed in the Spirit, because when it's your time, no man can close the door God opens, and no silence, no jealousy, no fear, no plot, no curse will stop what's already been written. He called you, He anointed you, He appointed you, and He will finish what He started.
There's a moment in every chosen one's life when you realize you can't go back. Not because the door is closed, but because you've outgrown who you had to be to survive. You look around and see people still playing roles, still wearing masks, still trying to fit into rooms they were never meant to stay in. And you can't unsee the truth. You can't unhear the calling. You can't unknow what God showed you. And the hardest part isn't the leaving, it's realizing how few are willing to follow. That's what makes being chosen feel like a curse when it's really a crown. You walk heavy because you're carrying something eternal. It pulls on you in the night. It wakes you up at inconvenient hours. It won't let you settle, won't let you compromise, won't let you disappear into comfort zones. And when you try to quiet it, life gets louder. Because heaven didn't invest in you so you could blend in. It anointed you to disrupt, to change, to rebuild, to rewire everything that was passed down, broken. So don't be surprised when it feels like the walls are closing in. That's the tension of transformation. The tighter it gets, the closer you are to birthing something that hell hoped you'd miscarry. The enemy doesn't come against what doesn't threaten him. You've been a problem since the womb. That's why you've battled what you've battled. That's why people walked away without explanation. That's why doors slammed. That's why support dried up. The attack wasn't personal, it was prophetic. They weren't fighting you, they were fighting what you carry. You were born with a blueprint in your soul, a divine code written before time. And it doesn't expire just because people walked away. It doesn't diminish because others pretend not to see it. Their silence is not your signal. Their fear is not your boundary. Their comfort is not your calling. And here's the truth nobody says out loud. Sometimes the people closest to you can't handle what's on you because it exposes what's not on them. They feel the shift but can't explain it. They sense the glow but try to shade it. They hear the weight in your words, and instead of honoring it, they mock it. Because if they accept that you're chosen, they have to accept that God can choose someone other than them, and that wrecks their pride. But you can't carry their insecurity and your purpose at the same time. You can't keep shrinking to make others feel tall. You can't keep asking for permission to walk in authority that God already gave you. Stop waiting for them to acknowledge what heaven already affirmed. You've spent too long second-guessing what you know is true, just because the people who should have celebrated you tried to compete with you instead. And yet, despite all of that, you've still got love in your heart. That's what makes you dangerous. You didn't let the pain turn you bitter. You didn't let betrayal break you. You didn't let silence stop you. You loved, you served, you showed up, and you're still standing. That's why you're chosen. Not because you were perfect, but because you didn't quit when quitting would have been easier. Don't lose that fire. Don't let the delay make you doubt the destiny. Some doors take longer because they're not just about you. They're about legacy. They're about territory. They're about rewriting a story that's been broken for generations. You're not just building for you. You're building for people you haven't even met yet. For bloodlines that forgot what freedom tastes like. For children who need to see that breaking the cycle is possible. You're not late. You're on schedule. What felt like a detour was just God's way of stripping the excess off of you. He had to pull you away from the noise so you could hear his strategy. He had to let them go silent so you could finally stop looking to them and start looking to him. That's why you're in the wilderness, because what's next requires clarity, not crowds. And I know it gets heavy. I know it gets lonely. I know there are days where you question if it's all worth it. But let me tell you, it is. Every tear, every sleepless night, every prayer you whispered with no words left, every time you had to encourage yourself because no one else saw the weight you were carrying. It counts. It all counts. God doesn't waste pain. He doesn't forget faithfulness. He doesn't ignore the quiet sacrifices. And when he brings you into the promise, it won't just be about proving them wrong. It will be about showing the world what it looks like when someone surrenders fully, when someone refuses to quit, when someone walks by faith, even when it feels like walking through fire. So lift your head, square your shoulders. You are chosen. That means you are covered. That means you are equipped. That means you are dangerous to anything that stands in the way of light. Keep moving, keep building, keep praying, keep forgiving, keep shining, keep pressing, because every step forward is shaking something in the spirit.